All right, guys, it's time to earn your Sunday, presented by Lowe's. And this is our speed round. I'm not going to make you say one word, but you can have like a short, very short explanation. This is bad game or a bad sign. The Lions, currently outside of the playoff picture, they're sitting at 8th in the NFC. Is that the bad sign?
I think it's a bad game. I just think I believe too much in that coaching staff and in the talent on both sides of the ball. They lose Amon-Ra St. Brown early in that game. Packers are a good team. And so on a short week, I think it's more of a bad game than a bad sign.
Bad sign. Dan Campbell as the play caller is not working. They're too predictable on fourth down. They're 0 for 7 in their last 2 losses on fourth down. Everybody knows they're going for it. Everybody's ready for it, and they're stopping it.
Yeah, it's a bad sign for me because of the rest of the division. You lose to a division opponent, then the Bears go and beat the Eagles. It's a bad sign because of where they're at right now when you think about the playoff picture.
I do think it's a bad game. But where they are, and not only their division, but all throughout the NFC, there's a lot of these teams that are over 500, and they're scratching and clawing, and the challenge is their head, and they play Dallas, who's playing awfully well right now. Dallas plays better at home than they do on the road, but this is a must-win for Detroit.
What about the Colts? They've lost 3 of their last 4 games after starting 7-1, a season-low 16 points against the Texans. Bad game or bad sign?
I think it's a bad sign. The fact, again, they've lost 3 of the 4. This is an important game against a division rival that was coming up on them in terms of the Texans, and they lose this one as well. They lose Sauce Gardner now for a couple of weeks. Daniel Jones clearly isn't 100% either. So I think it's just a bad sign. Here's their upcoming schedule, too, by the way. So they're at Jacksonville next week. That's an important game. Then they got to go to Seattle. Boy, that's going to be a tough one. They're home to San Francisco. The Niners are not going to be an easy out. Home to Jacksonville. Then they're at Houston. Can they win both games against Jacksonville? I'm not convinced. I mean, Jacksonville continues to be scrappy. So I think it's a bad sign, especially when you think of their upcoming schedule, which is going to be challenging.
I think it's a bad sign, and on top of that, they haven't won in Jacksonville since 2014, which is amazing because it's not like it's been the Patriots since 2014, except for the last few years after you left. But, you know, the Jaguars have been bad more often than they've been good, so to not win there for 11 years, it's really kind of stunning. I think it's a bad sign, mainly because they need a healthy Daniel Jones.
Yeah, it's a bad sign for me. You want to start playing your best football. And I played on the New England Patriots in 2015. We started 10-0, and then we lost 4 of our last 6. We lost an AFC Championship. Like, that was great getting there, but our season just felt like we were chasing it. And I'm worried a little bit for the Colts of you get off to that hot start, and now when you start losing games, you kind of feel like it's slipping away, and you're like, how do we fix this? And you start scrambling. So that for me is my biggest concern for them.
Yeah, it's a bad sign, and it's a bad trend. They've lost 3 out of 4. And the biggest thing for me is Jonathan Taylor was so dominant.
Yep.
And now teams are coming in saying, we're not going to let him beat us. Now, Daniel Jones played well in this game. Threw a couple touchdowns. He was efficient. He moved. He did some good things down in the red zone. But those monster games for Jonathan Taylor, I think he had 85 or so yards rushing. We haven't seen that 120, 150, 200-yard games here recently. And that's a huge part of it because it helps Daniel. It helps their passing game. It helps their defense. In order for them to get going, they got to get that running game back to where it was earlier in the year.
Yeah, 85 rushing yards, except for Jonathan Taylor. What about the Eagles, though, sitting at 8-4, 4-4 over the last 8 games, and obviously coming off that loss on Black Friday?
So I think it's a bad sign for a playoff run. I still think they make the playoffs. I still think they got a good shot at the division. But I'm concerned about the fact that one of the hallmarks of the Eagles, their physicality, they got out-muscled. Chicago went into Philadelphia and out-muscled them in this game here. And then, look, they're going to make a playoff run just because, listen, they're at the Chargers next week. They're beat up. We don't know about the status of Herbert. Then they're home to the Raiders. They're at Washington. They're at Buffalo. They're home to Washington. Only that game at Buffalo really scares you from an Eagles schedule perspective. So I think they make the playoffs. I think they got a good shot at winning the division. But I think it's a bad sign for their Super Bowl return run just because, again, they got out-physicaled. Saquon hasn't looked like Saquon this entire year, and the passing game's been inconsistent.
And I think it's a bad sign. I don't care who they play. I don't think they can beat anybody right now. They've got to prove that they can do it. And I look at 2023 and 2024 because there was dysfunction both years. Last year, it all spun the right way. 2 years ago, they went from 10-1 to losing 5 out of 6 to losing 32-9 at Tampa Bay to start the playoffs. And it feels like it's starting down the 2023 path, and they better turn it around. And they got some deep issues that nobody really seems to know what they are, and nobody knows how to fix them, and they aren't going anywhere. And it's amazing they've won 8 games with these issues that are just kind of mysteriously percolating inside the organization.
That's the key, what you just said, that they've won 8 games. I want to jump on with you guys a bad sign, but I think it's a bad game because of this. I think it's now all out. Like, we try to do all these different things, but we've seen A.J. Brown. That's worked a little bit now. All right, how do we get Saquon Barkley? You said it last week. And I think as they go deeper into the regular season and into the playoffs, I think we will see Jalen Hurts get the ball about 10 to 12 times on either scrambles and design quarterback runs. I think they're waiting to get to that point where it's like, hey, it's all or nothing. I think that's coming up for this team. And I think what they're going through, I think it's going to start to piece together. They're going to do something. I think they're going to now, you lose 2 in a row, I think they're going to say, hey, let's just go win games. Like, forget making this guy happy, that guy happy. No, and I think that defense after Friday getting punched in the mouth the way they did, they're going to respond. So I do think this team will turn this around and actually show us what the Eagles team is that we kind of expected all season.
Yeah, bad sign, bad trend. I mean, they have not been good recently. The biggest concern is Ben Johnson said, we're going to run the ball right down your throat. And nobody does that. Nobody does that to that defense. They're so strong on the defensive line. They're just stout up there. We haven't seen a lot of that. And on the flip side, they've been dominant on the offensive line. But, they haven't been able to get the running game going really all year long. And so for as much skill as they have, playmakers outside, their team, the strength of the team is their offense and defensive lines, and we haven't really seen it. But again, I'm a little bit like you, this is the opportunity to respond. When you have a game like this where they clearly, you're going to put that tape on, you're going to see these guys get knocked off the ball into the end zone. That guy from Rutgers celebrating in the end zone.
Kyle Manung guy.
I mean, that gets you a to bit. And you're going to see what this team is made of. And I think they are made of the right stuff. And so we'll see. But if they can get that back, I do believe all the playmaking stuff outside will happen. But it's a byproduct of the physicality of their team.
Hi, I'm Mike Tirico, and thanks for watching. Make sure to hit subscribe for the latest news and highlights from NBC Sports.